What is up, everybody? TLG here, back again after a few weeks of hiatus. And we are doing our Game of the Year discussion. So, yeah, obviously 2022 has came and went, and yeah, we're about to enter into 2023, but before we go into 2023, I figured we might as well look back into like all the games that came out throughout this year, sort of look back and see which games was our favorite or what would we consider as our game of the year. Now, we sort of bended the rules a little bit to where we not only wanted to include games that came out this year, but also games that, maybe some of us has played throughout the year that, a game that came out like a separate year. So like, let's say for example, someone says maybe honorable mention or even like as a game of the year, if they really haven't played anything new that came out this year, they can say like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That game came out a few years ago, but that person still would say it's their game of the year just because like you know, they played a lot of Smash Ultimate and they had a really good time with it. So they could kind of include that as well. So yeah, so it's kind of like if you're wondering like, oh, why like this game didn't come out this year? Well, it's because like, we sort of like bended the rules a little bit. So it can either be games that came out this year or games that came out another year. So as long as like it's a game that we all enjoyed, anything's qualified. So so yeah, so right now I got me, Blake, Kai, Swike, and Shadow. Chris, I think he'll may try to come in. I know he told me a little bit earlier that he'll that he's probably won't be able to make it, but he says he'll try. So if we can't make it, then I'll mention his game of the year towards near the end of the discussion. And then Kevin, obviously, unfortunately, Kevin was going to come in, but he unfortunately has COVID. So, that sucks, Kevin. Hope you get better. So send some prayers to Kevin. And I'll also mention his game of the year towards near the end of the discussion as well. So yeah, let me head back into the call with the others, and then we can get started with our probably like our honorable mentions first. Like talk about like which game was close to becoming our game of the year, and then we'll move on to the big events. So yeah, hope you guys do enjoy. Let us know in the chat like what is your game of the year, or like what are your honorable mentions, or like if you have a list of games that you played and maybe want to rank them, maybe you could do that as well. And yeah, I think this should be a little fun discussion that we can do to wrap up the year. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I mean, even though like we don't really stream a lot, uh, obviously like we'll try our best to try to stream a little bit as we can throughout in 2023, like once in a while, just depending on like how life is going. But we'll see what we can do. But anyways, I'll go back into the call with my friends and we'll talk about our game of the year. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
Banless?
Yeah, for Master Duel.
I'm not.
All right,
It's
guys, I'm back.
it's terrible.
Mm.
Hello.
All right, so it's 2022. It's almost coming to an end.
Shit year. And
Yeah,
always.
it's a shit year. We had terrible games this year. We thought the world was gonna end. Yeah, it was a
Did
terrible year.
we?
Huh?
Did we?
No, no, I was just like, I was like joking around with that. Like
Okay,
it was
I
still
was
like it
like,
was still like like it was like a good year for games overall, in
it
my
was
opinion. I would say.
mm,
Like I don't know what you guys have to say on that.
good year for games. Everything else, no.
Yeah, debatable, I guess. So, anyways, before we get to the big event, do you guys have any honorable mentions that you guys want to mention as to like what game came close to becoming your game of the year, or if you had to rank some of the games you played this year, like what would you rank them?
Honestly, no. To be honest, I didn't play a ton this year. Like as sad as as sad as that is, I didn't play a ton.
Yeah, same. I'll just mention it on my number one.
You just mentioned on your number one.
Yeah, because it'll be brief.
Okay. Yeah, Kai, I'm assuming as well. Like, do you have any honorable mentions or anything like that?
I got like one.
Okay, what's your honorable mention?
The Pathless. That's really about it.
Really? That game came out like last year, I think.
It's a little bit of an older game.
Mm. Tell me what is Pathless? Like, what is that game about?
Uh, Open zone type game. It honestly, it does open zone better than fucking most games that I've played that did the same formula.
Oh,
But
okay.
basically, you run from area to area, defeating beasts and unlocking the next zone, and just like rinse and repeat.
Okay.
I think if anything, probably like the better part is just the general like traversal of the map, since you're not grinding on rails more so than you are just like actively engaging with the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the pathless, you're equipped with a bow, and there are these like little boost diamonds around the map, and every time you shoot one of them, you get like this large boost in speed. So the game ends up becoming, or like the gameplay for moving on the map ends up becoming a game of you timing your shot from diamond to diamond, making sure like you either keep up the speed, you either keep the speed that you're already going with, or like you manage to find a way to go faster throughout the map. And it's like it honestly more engaging than a lot of other games that I played this year in terms of like map traversal.
Oh, okay, that sounds really cool. I feel like I think I've seen some footage of the Pathless, so like obviously like whenever I get a chance, I guess I'll try out the Pathless. So I feel like that
Mhm.
sort of speaks for like it's that's kind of like the type of game that would speak for me or sort of like gravitates me to try it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean let's just mention my honorable mentions real quick and then we'll just get to the main event. But my honorable mentions, I would say, uh, yeah, there was a few games I played. I mean, if I had to rank them all, I would say Splatoon 3 being sort of on the lower side. Not because like it's a bad game, like it's still a good game. I enjoy it. It's just the other games I sort of found more interesting than Splatoon 3. So no offense, Kai, before you kill me, before you're like, why isn't Splatoon 3 my
You're
game of the
fine.
year?
It's like a top 5 game for me, but I wouldn't say game of the year.
Yeah. So I would say Splatoon 3, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. It's a fun game. I really enjoyed playing it with you guys, even though we never finished the
I
story
forgot
mode.
about
But
that.
yeah,
I
it
forgot
was
I
it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. So.
I feel like that game was like fun for like 10 minutes, and then it just like fell off.
Yeah, I noticed that.
At least for me,
Mhm.
it's just like a standard beat 'em up. Like there's nothing to it.
Yeah, it's kind of why I put it a little bit low as well, just because it's like a standard beat 'em up game, which is fine. Like I don't mind it, but it does get a little boring once in a while. But I mean, when you play with friends, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Sifu for being a little bit of a challenge. You know, I really do enjoy Sifu. Like it is a game I reckon, like I told you, like about like to where it's like a difficult game to where you're sort of going through certain stages and trying to get to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, really fun game. Love Sifu.
Right. So have you heard that? By the way, I'm currently having a lollipop.
What kind of lollipop?
Just cherry.
Nice. I like cherry. The cherry lollipops are pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
It's a Tootsie Pop, so it has chocolate in the middle. Like once you finish,
Oh,
so
nice.
you have an extra snack when you're done.
Dude, I really enjoy those. Like those are really good.
Dude, my
Yeah, that
grandma
reminds-
gets me these things fucking constantly. I swear. I swear she wants me to be fat and obese forever.
That reminds me. Do you guys remember the video I showed? I think I showed you guys. Woody got wood.
I think so.
Say that again. Woody got wood.
Woody got wood.
Yeah. Did I not show you guys that?
I
felt like I did.
I think I remember the name, but I don't remember what it was about.
It was not kid friendly. It was funny, but it was it was something. No, never mind. If you don't remember, it's fine. It was a curse to memory.
Was it Toy Story really?
Yeah, it was Toy Story.
I think you did show it. I think you did show us that video.
Yeah, the video. Like I remember the line. Cherry is my favorite.
Alright. Okay, so let's see. I think Splatoon 3, I think that would be number 7. Yeah, number 7, number 6, TMNT, number 5, Sifu, number 4, Sonic Frontiers. Yep.
So it's not even on the list.
It's out. Sonic Frontiers is on the list, but it's number 4. Like it didn't make it to top 3.
Wow, fake fan. Fake fan.
Doesn't on the list at all.
Yeah.
Fake fan.
No, I mean I know like you guys probably will dive into Frontiers spoilers, but yeah, Frontiers like it is a good game. I really did enjoy it, but I feel like the other 3 games that are above Frontiers I enjoyed a lot more than Sonic Frontiers, just because like I don't know, like I had more like there was a bit more impact with those games that I had, and I really did enjoy them a lot more than Sonic. No offense to Sonic or anything like that. Like Sonic, I'm always a Sonic fan, and I really like look forward to his games. It's just this one. It was really good, but there were some problems where I'm like, I feel like the other games don't really have that many problems that sort of hinder my experience. So because of it, Frontiers is like number 4. Number 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I mean, you can't go wrong with Kirby. Like,
Are we just going through all of
I'm
them?
just
like,
sort of
in
going through my honorable mentions real quick. Like, this is like sort of like a list of all games that I played
Oh,
throughout the
okay.
year.
You were doing like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's like, so we're not taking turns. We're just going.
No,
Okay.
like, I'm just sort of mentioning mine, and then when I finish mentioning number 2, then we'll do game of the
Okay.
year, and we'll take turns like passing the baton and say what's your game of the year.
I thought you were just like, fuck you guys, I'm doing all my games, then you can do all
Yeah,
yours.
no.
I'm like, okay, cool.
No, I'm just mentioning it real quick, so I'm not taking
Yeah,
too
yeah.
long. Yeah.
Go
Kirby in
for
the
it.
Forgotten Land, Kirby, has his first 3D outing, like I thought like, wow, that's kind of insane to think about that Kirby gets his first 3D game and it was executed really well. Like I
It's
never
hard to
thought
believe that this is only the first 3D Kirby game.
yeah. I mean there was
Like
like
they haven't done it sooner.
I mean there was kind of like other spin-offs like I know like Kirby Air Ride like it kind of had Kirby into 3D but it's more of a spin-off game not a mainline game.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but no, I mean like even playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land it kind of made me like a bit of a Kirby fan. So gotta thank the game for
Good.
that. So yeah,
Oh, fucking
I
good.
mean Blake, I mean I know you're probably like happy about that. And now I like Kirby a little bit, so may have to play some of his games.
I mean, I'm just like, spoiler alert, you're going to hear about Kirby in the Forgotten Lands from me, probably only. But
okay, yeah, we'll
yeah.
talk more about it as well. But yeah, Kirby number 3, number 2, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It was very close. It was either this or another game that I had for number 1, but I decided to put Sparks of Hope number 2 just because. I really love this
That
game.
actually really surprises me.
Yeah, like I was like conflicted. Like I was about to put this as my game of the year, but there was another game that impressed me a little bit more. So, but yeah, Sparks of Hope does a lot of like it like improves a lot from the first game. Like, able to move around in the battlefield. The sparks being introduced using like different like abilities or like have different elements that you can use on the battlefield. Like that's really awesome.
Did you say elephants?
Elements.
Oh, okay.
Elephants, yes, they utilize different elephants. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. Some are big, some are small, some are on fire.
Yeah, I know, right? So that's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's like it's just like I like the writing's really awesome. Like the characters' interactions, like it's also really cool, and the bosses are really nice as well. So definitely like
yeah.
a huge improvement from the first game. And I mean, like I say, if you guys are into strategy games, you gotta pick this game up. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess those are all my honorable mentions, and I guess now we can talk about our game of the year. So.
Oh wait, I do have a couple honorable mentions. I just remembered another. I remembered the TMNT like 2 minutes before you said it, and then there was another one.
Oh, okay. Do you want to mention it real quick?
Yeah. So definitely TMNT is an honorable mention. I think that's probably the best beat 'em up out there because most beat 'em ups, like I played a ton in the arcade. There's only like 2 buttons and the joystick, and there's not a lot of like variety. There's only like 3 inputs, but TMNT there's like so many options you can do to where like they really put hard into it to where like even if you weren't a beat 'em up fan, you'd have a lot more fun with TMNT compared to others. So it would definitely be like a high recommendation for like that genre for sure. The other one, I forgot about this game. Multiverses came out. I mainly played in the beta,
Yeah.
but that game was also really really fun. But I kind of just I think I got it was like I got bored of it and like Finn was bugged online, and then every time I play the game, my joystick would break on my PS4. Like the rubber would always like get rip off, which is annoying. It happened to like two to three of my controllers, so it's a bum moment. So now I'm like,
Wait, is
just
this
like,
the
man,
PS4 or 5?
PS4. I
Oh.
didn't realize the PS4 rubber was like so weak.
Until you actually play
multiplayer.
like a actual like hard fighting game.
Yeah, and like if you play a game where like you're actually like really pushing left and right, like that it'll break in like 2 weeks. I'm surprised at how flawed the controller is. I thought it was like perfectly fine like the PS3, but no. But yeah, it probably would have been one if they had regular show characters in the game. I probably would still be playing today, but they didn't do that, so they're not getting number one. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Before we go on, hello Terrence Black, this Sly and Multiverse Traveler. Welcome to the stream, and also hello Mac. The legendary for Pokemon Violet looks like a PP. Yes, we were having that discussion a bit before we went live. So.
Can we ban them? Can we ban them?
Nah, he needs to be a mod. That's what
No.
we need.
No, we won't do that.
I hate the fucking Pokemon community. I fucking hate them. I hate it here, dude.
Watch it not even be from the Pokemon community when someone notices that.
Why does everyone in the Pokemon community share one brain cell?
Why does every Yu-Gi-Oh player share one brain cell?
Yeah, it's fair.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, now to talk about Game of the Year. So, who wants to start?
Not it.
Not it.
Dude, to be honest with you, like, can I be 100% honest with you?
Go for
I
it.
legitimately have not thought about my games like since like last week.
Damn. It's like you abandoned
I
the
don't even
game.
know where I don't even know where I put my games in any order. I don't even know.
Mm. But I mean, like, at least for now. Like, obviously, it could still change. It's not like it's your true definitive Game of the Year.
Well, yeah, but legitimately, I have not thought about it since last week. I
Okay.
guess.
Kai and Swag, do you guys want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You want to go first, Kai?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
My game of the year would have to just be Hades, since Mac was the one who got me into this game earlier this year, and since the second one is coming out sometime next year. Hades is just like a really fun roguelike game. Yeah, like it's honestly like by far the most because I've played a lot of roguelike games this year from Shovel Knight Dig to Going Under to more like Binding of Isaac, but like through it all, like Hades has been the top game that like just beats out all of them. Simply because like the combat is just really seamless. It honestly runs pretty decently on the Switch, aside from a few discrepancies in the loading times and FPS. So it's like really well optimized as well for the Switch. Like the game is just like a really, really great indie game. It's definitely like my game of the year though.
Hmm. Yeah, so because like before when Hades came out a few years ago, you weren't that interested in Hades.
No, because I never really heard about it.
Oh, you never heard about Hades?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I know like when it came out, it was like the talk of the town. A lot of people were talking about how great it was, and it was like nominated as one of the nominees for Game of the Year back in 2020. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I glossed over it completely back then.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, like Hades, like I mean, obviously, like for me, I'm not much into roguelikes, but if I would ever get into a roguelike game, I feel like do you think Hades would be a good starting point to for someone who wants to get into those type of games?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially since like if like you're more familiar with like top-down games, the game is definitely like in that same genre of like, hey, like if you already play top-down games, this game will be, a lot easier to get into.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe next year or maybe like before Hades 2 comes out, maybe I'll try out the first Hades.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably give it a shot, and if I don't like it, then I guess it's just not my thing. But yeah, I mean, there
Yeah.
you go. I mean, even though it's a game that came out 2 years ago, but I mean, but it's still awesome that you enjoyed that game. Like, you played it, I think, like earlier this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I remember when we did our top 5 Switch games, you did mention it in your list, and so
Yeah.
that's why I remembered. Oh yeah, you did play this game earlier this year. So wow. I was honestly thinking that you were gonna say Splatoon 3 as your game of the year.
Nah, I mean like Splatoon could be game of the year, and it is in like my top 5 list for like nominees, but there's too many like things I would say holding it back from like just all the new players kind of like ruining X rank and anarchy to a little bit. X rank being as broken as ever, certain weapons not getting the proper fixes and like other stuff. It just kind of sours the game a little bit.
Mm, yeah, I see.
At
Yeah,
least
cause
at least Splatoon is way better about that stuff than Smash Bros.
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
will
the
say
thing I hate the absolute most.
yeah, I will say like Splatoon 3, I do enjoy it a little bit more than Splatoon 2, but even then, like I still feel like I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like there's a lot of server issues to where it's like sometimes I would want to play a match, but then there's a communication error that happens like a little bit.
Yeah, like the new servers for Nintendo aren't really the best, but it is just thanks to people's like internet connections to them. That does fuck it up a lot for a lot of people.
It's definitely a lot better. Like I've been playing a lot of Splatoon recently, and like the communication errors, like it doesn't happen nearly as much. At least for
Mhm.
me.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
don't know if I've just been getting lucky or like but like my matches have been going really smoothly.
Okay.
It's just I'm not good enough to win matches, so
I will say this, unfortunately, for Splatoon 3, Nintendo has adopted the like Smash route for updates, which is I think it's gonna ruin the game at some point, where they will only give us patch notes either midway through a patch or at every single time there's like a new season. So meaning like if a weapon ends up being broken or like there's a certain bug in the game that like doesn't really need to be fixed at all, or there's no haste for it, then the bug will go unfixed for at least a solid 2 to 3 months. Or like other weapon will stay top tier for like 2 to 3 months, which is an issue since a lot of weapons right now, like Flushing Machine, can literally pierce through walls and floors. But they haven't fixed it yet. Won't be fixing it till like January, February. So that is a bit of an issue.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, like, I was like, if I was just gonna add real quick on Splatoon 3, I would say, like, yeah, like, it is, like, a really, like, definitely improves a lot from the second game, and I do enjoy it, even though I haven't gone back to play, like, going back to play Splatoon 3 since a couple of weeks ago when the big run event was happening. I still would like to get back to, level up in Splatoon 3 and maybe try to go for the ranks. Like, try to get,
Mhm.
like, like S ranks, maybe get to X ranks, but it's just, like, for me, I'm, like, more of a casual player, not really much a competitive player. So,
Mm.
but it'd still be nice to go back to the game. Just because I've been busy playing other games and, you know, haven't really got time to go back to Splatoon. And I still got to beat the campaign in Splatoon 2. I actually made it to the final boss, so I still have to beat the final boss and then maybe start the campaign
didn't you
for
get to the
Splatoon
final
3.
boss like months ago?
Huh?
Didn't you get to the final boss like months ago? Didn't you
Uh,
tell us?
yeah, I got to it like in October, but then like I started playing Sparks of Hope because it came out around that time, and so I was mostly playing that game.
Can I ask a random question?
Sure.
Would you guys be upset if like I found a shiny in this game and I started yelling?
I mean, go
No.
for it.
Okay, because I'm searching for one right now because I really want to have this reaction recorded.
Okay, well,
Bleh.
I mean, just in case you find it,
If I
write it
find a
up.
shiny, I'm gonna shit myself.
Well, if you find one, better give out a good reaction, okay?
Yeah, don't worry.
Swag, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I can go. So I didn't play much.
Ditto.
I thought I only played two, but then but then I remembered TMNT and Multiverse. I guess like for me the main things out of mind was it was between Scarlet and Frontiers, and obviously I'd pick Frontiers.
All right.
As a Sonic fan. And that's by far the highlight because like I only got Scarlet like 4 days ago,
Yeah.
and I think it's really good, surprisingly. Um, but uh, there's no way I'd put it over Sonic. Sonic's still my favorite um video game series, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. And it deserves to be number one because it definitely did the series justice. We finally got a good story, since the last decade. The last time we had a good story was the Black Knight, where they fixed like all of the main characters. I'm hoping Shadow's fixed too, but we'll see. But like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, all of them redeemed from the garbage writing we had. And that was the most important part to me. And the fact that that happened is so crazy to me. Like, I finally have hope for the franchise again. And that says a lot because before going into Frontiers, I was going to like pretend like I was going to act like Sonic died after Black Knight. Like,
Well,
I was not
Jesus.
yeah, I was not looking forward to I had I had low expectations with the write-in. Like I knew it was the IDW, but um author, but I know how Sega had really stupid restrictions that screwed over the comic and screwed over the Sonic Boom show as well. Well, not it didn't really screw it. They handled it well, but they had there was an interview where they were like they had to do the bit where it's funny that Shadow's too edgy. Like they couldn't do anything else with this character because they had so many like restrictions on him. to where it was just it's just a pain to use him in the show, and they weren't even able to use him in the show, like because of so many restrictions. It was like that's why he only appeared in like the last episode of the season because they couldn't really make use of him. Anyway, yeah. So so story great. Gameplay I thought was really good. Even though I feel like a lot of the gameplays like Forces, a lot of people disagree. I enjoyed Forces gameplay. It's like it took out the brain dead part where you could just boost everything, and I got sick of boost after Forces because I'm like, well, people complaining that you just hold the button. And yeah, I agree. Boost is pretty brain dead. Outside of Unleashed, um, well, that's if you do tech, I'd argue. But anyway, that's a hot take for another day. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun running around the open world. I thought the music was great. Like it for the open world, it was immersive. It was I was able to just get into it, and then the boss fights were all hype as heck, except the last. The last one was so underwhelming. But
Yeah.
the first three absolute bangers, like 10 out of 10. I didn't expect that. They killed it. I hope they do more. And I think we'll get a boss rush with the updates they announced. So I look forward to that. Um, what else?
Music.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, get good rain on music. Gameplay I thought was really good. But obviously it's not without flaws. It still has a ton of flaws. Like it's not perfect game by any means with like the reused assets in cyberspace. They have the same length as Sonic Forces stages. Like they could have done it could have been better. The end of the story felt rushed a bit. Like it could have ended better. And how it was handled, and even the levels itself, the fact that it was the first zone for the last two, um, like it just screams it was probably rushed. And that's probably the truth of it, but that doesn't mean it should take away from the good. There's way more good than bad the game brought. So that's why I give the game like an 8 out of 10 for me. Where I definitely think it's one of the better ones for sure. And I'd recommend it to like any Sonic fan or to anyone who's like a fan of open world and speed. Like if you're like, oh, I like the concept of running fast in an open world, then yeah, I'd also recommend the game. It's just a fun experience where like I played it and I finished, and I'm like, I'm happy I played it. It's definitely worth it. I think that's it.
I was gonna add, like, going back to like pretty much like you pretty much explained exactly what my thoughts on Sonic Frontiers is. To where it's like before I was gonna give it like a 7.5 out of 10, but then I was like a bit more lenient to maybe give it an 8 out of 10 just because like I did really enjoy what I enjoyed of the game. Like it does have its flaws, like the cyberspace stages, like they control a bit. They don't control that good, you know. Like it's a bit weird. Like definitely it's still a downgrade from like colors, generations, controls, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
really wish you controlled a lot better in those segments.
Even the gameplay has its flaws too. Like the drop dash is literally useless. Like it just kills momentum. There was no point in adding that to the game other than haha reference to Mania. Mania was so good, right, guys?
I mean, I used the drop dash like a few times. Like when there was a slope, I tried to use the
It's
drop
it- it's
dash.
ve- it's very niche. Like 98% of the time, you're better off just never using it because it actually makes you go slower.
It's like you already have the boost, so what's the point of using the drop dash?
Yeah, exactly. And like for me, like because I was doing like mini speedrun and like I would try to optimize my time. And I noticed that when you drop dash, like it's like you're like stuck and you have to wait for it to end. You can't cancel it into a boost. Now, if you could cancel it into boost immediately, then drop dash would have been amazing because you could start with momentum and you could keep going, but you have to wait for it to end. So you have to slow down to a complete stop before you can even boost. But what's weird though is in the open world, when you drop dash, you can do that. You can cancel into boost, but you can't do that
The
in the
cyberspace.
cyberspace levels when it matters. So
Hmm.
it's just like okay, sure, Sega.
Yeah, it's just like I mean, I wouldn't mind they bring back the boost. Like like those type of stages again. They just have to improve on Sonic's controls.
That yeah, the improve the controls, and the levels need to definitely be a lot better. Like it shouldn't be the same three to four same four assets. Like I get that like it definitely helped with time in terms of developing the game, but all it does is like you can't go back and go like and have fond memories of a certain level because they're all like bunched up together because everything looks the same. You know?
It's like it's ripped, like it's basically the same level design from past games, and it's like you might as well play those games just because like it reminds you of a better experience with the gameplay.
Yeah. And like they shouldn't have done another generation. Like Generations was that alone was like okay, you do it once, that's fine. Forces that was like, come on, you really? And then they had the audacity to do it a third time, despite complaints of people being like, "But we don't want Green Hill again," and they're like, "Oh, we don't want Green Hill? Yeah, we'll do it again."
Because like apparently they said that they wanted to like the reason why they brought back Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary was because of Sonic's memories.
I feel I get that, but I feel like that's just a bullcrap excuse. Like to
Yeah.
just reuse the same as like if they really wanted to like make use of that concept, they wouldn't have the same four assets with um like the first three levels and generations in City Escape. It's like a weird version of City Escape, but like they could have added what they should have done is they should have done level like if they really wanted to do well, not only make the length higher, but they also should have had stages that wasn't in either generations for the console or the 3DS.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
that's probably what they should have done. What's a good level? Like I don't, what was that Adventure 2 level? The last Sonic stage. Was it
Final
finals?
Rush.
Yeah, like that could have been like a really good one. They could have done, for
Yeah,
example.
I could see it. Yeah, Final Rush would have been a
Yeah,
really good
that or
stage.
like and literally any of the '06 levels, they only did Crisis City.
Hmm.
Like all of the like '06, it was like yeah, it's so buggy, but if it wasn't buggy, it literally would have been the best Sonic game of all time. Well, outside of like
The
the
story.
least part of the story, but other than that, like it has the potential. There's a reason why Project '06 is like the craziest thing ever because
Yeah.
the game would have been peak. It just was rushed.
Yeah,
So
like it would have been it would have been like a lot better, like overall, and like even though like story, I don't think story would still be pretty bad. Like gameplay would still be top notch.
no, I no. Well, here's the thing: Shadow and Silver's story was amazing. Sonic's story was just um, it was just mainly bad because of the Sonic Elise thing. Like I don't know, like I'd give more props to the story because they did Shadow and Silver a ton of justice. There's a reason why a lot of people look back and go, like, yeah, they got their characters right. So
Yeah, because like with Sonic's story it was just repetitive to where it's like, oh, Elise, we have to save Elise. Okay, we saved her. Oh, she gets kidnapped again. We got to save her again, and so on and so
nah,
forth.
yeah, and then yeah, the Sonic character didn't shine. And like he wasn't really like involved with like the actual plot. And Sega took that criticism the wrong way, and that's why we were never able to play Tails or Knuckles or anyone for like an entire decade.
Yep, but
So
I mean, we're now gonna play with those characters again next year with the Sonic Frontiers DLC.
yeah, that's
So
that's awesome. I hope Sage is playable. I doubt it, but
I
hopefully,
just my
hopefully.
worry is that I hope the characters aren't like skins to where they play exactly like Sonic. It's just a skin swap.
Nah, there's no way. Like it wouldn't make sense for Tails and Knuckles to boost.
Yeah,
You
like
know.
yeah, like I want to fly as Tails. I want to glide as Knuckles. I want to hit enemies with the hammer with Amy.
Mm.
So like that's what I want to do. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the DLC does turn out to be good. So we'll just
Yeah,
have to wait and
I
see.
agree. I think it'll be good.
Yeah. Also, another negative thing I think you forgot to mention was the pop-in.
The what?
The pop-in, like you know how you're like roaming around the state, like the open zone, and then you see the platforms just like popping in, like like out of nowhere.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I
Yeah,
think I had
Uh,
to be honest, I didn't.
you sure? I don't know. It wasn't hard to not see that.
Oh no.
I probably noticed it. I just didn't care.
Well, for me, when they popped in, it felt like if anything popped in, it felt like natural. I didn't see anything abnormal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only The only thing that's like abnormal was I'm stuck with 30 FPS. It's kind of
Yeah, because you played it on PS4.
yeah.
Yeah, you played it on PS4. I played it on PS5. I think Kai also played it on PS5 as well.
Must be nice.
And
I'm the only one who played on Switch.
and you played it on Switch.
Yeah, Switch is rough. 720p.
I know. Oof.
Yep. Yeah, I don't care enough about that stuff. You know that.
Yeah, that's good for you.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
good.
It's a bad thing, but like I think it's a good thing that like I just don't notice the difference.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing that I don't,
yeah,
yeah,
because
that's convenient.
or I probably throw my Switch in the garbage.
yeah, because you were still able
Yeah.
to bypass the problems of the performance and the resolution of the game, and you still had
I
a good
always-
time with it.
Yeah, I always do, and like it is like it's. I don't know. I think it's better to like go in with not an open mind,
Yeah,
or I don't know.
perhaps. Like, I guess it would just depend on the person. Like,
I just don't care enough. As long as the game is fun, I don't care.
yeah, it's
I'm
just,
usually like that too, but for me, my issue is more like if I know there's a better version, then it bothers me. That's
yeah,
how I
same,
work.
same here.
Well, when you
And there's a better alternative, yeah.
when you
Yeah.
don't have a job, you don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I don't either. Why do you think I have a PS4 instead of a PS5?
I mean, a PS4 is still pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I agree. It's better than the Switch, but I'm still unfortunate. No 60 FPS. I can't even play Genshin in 60 FPS.
Yeah,
Oh,
On the
boo.
PS4. Yeah, like it can barely run 30. It actually struggles to run 30 FPS on the PS4. It's so stupid.
Mm.
No, I just I forgot my bit. I was gonna say Genshin Impact was my game of the year. Is the bit in the
Oh,
beginning? I
Oh,
forgot.
wow. Just because, like,
wow,
it
so
won
much better.
player's voice.
Yeah,
at the Game
Do
because
people
of the
still
game.
do people still talk about that?
Nah, I doubt it.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, I'm just gonna be funny. Well,
Yeah.
well, that was the
I
joke.
found a shiny. I didn't.
yeah. Oh, wait, you found a shiny?
No,
Oh.
I wish.
Yeah,
I want more. It's so bad.
I mean, it was kind of a shame that Frontiers lost to Genshin at the Game Awards for player's voice.
Yeah,
It was a
is what
shame,
is.
but like I feel like it wasn't that big of a surprise.
Yeah,
well, yeah, they cheated.
they cheated. They used bots.
Well, I think the worst part about that is I looked at the Genshin community. They think that the Sonic fans were the one who cheated. I'm like, are you kidding me?
How did we cheat if we lost?
Yeah.
That makes no
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah. Well.
It's whatever. I mean,
Boo-hoo, Sonic community this, Sonic community that. Yeah. Look, I know we're not perfect, but like, come on, bro. We can only take. I mean,
No,
can you really blame us after what we've been through these past 2 decades? Can you really blame us?
Well, here's the other thing. Look, yeah, I know the Sonic community is not that great, but the Genshin community is actually one of the worst gaming communities. Do not
Yeah, I
go
heard
in the
it.
Genshin community. Worst mistake of my life.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's so bad. But yeah, I guess one comment about that is just I think the only like I expected them to win the other awards, so it really put me in a position where if they didn't beat Sonic, I wouldn't have got any primos. I'm still playing the game, so well, I'll only be playing it for like until like February, like halfway through February is when I'll quit. Because I'm waiting for a character, but yeah. Anyway, that's it.
wait,
It hasn't gone yet. Me and Shadow.
Oh, I don't have any because I haven't played. So
Oh, okay.
I was gonna
Fair
ask.
enough.
I was gonna ask and say like you played Elden Ring. Like I know you didn't beat Elden Ring, but you at least played a little bit of Elden Ring.
oh yeah, I play a good amount of Elden Ring. I mean, I'm like near the end of it. I've already seen the entirety of the game 10 times over from like other people's perspectives.
Oh, okay.
Damn, 10 small lives and not one shiny. Fuck.
Yeah, because that was something I was gonna ask you. Like, even though like I know you don't have a Game of the Year Shadow, like it is a game that's still one Game of the Year, Elden Ring, and that was one of the games you played. So I didn't know like what was your overall thoughts on the game once.
Yeah, do you think Elden Ring deserved to have won?
I'll be honest, yes.
Okay.
Well, a couple of reasons. It was like ironically the one of few open world games that had no bugs. Ironically.
Yeah.
If you recall, like we had what it was what other there's like a bunch of open world games that appeared at the same time as that. I just don't remember which ones it was. I think it was like Lost Ark had one that they released, I believe.
My dumbass was like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones. My dumbass.
Imagine.
Yeah, no. But just for like its actual open world freedom, which is good. Obviously, can't like climb rock hills or anything. Which I mean, sure, fair enough. Like if it's not fully open world, but like it's open world enough to where you're like, if you want to go to like a certain destination in the map, you can. The music was good. Sorry, I'm pausing because I'm playing something and I'm just getting pelted.
Okay, well then.
Dude, I should really be fighting the gym right now, but I really want this shiny reaction, so I've just been looking at Pokemon all day. This is going to be the greatest thing.
1 second.
Okay.
Should I go next, or
Well,
who hasn't gone? Anyone else?
I haven't gone yet, and you haven't gone yet.
Okay, you can. What do you want to do, Alan? I don't know.
I was gonna ask Kai real quick, like, because he also played Elden Ring.
go for it.
So, like Kai, what did you think of Elden Ring? Like, do you think Elden Ring should have won Game of the Year, or do you think another game
Yeah, if they only fix the PC bugs.
if they only fix the PC
There are no
bugs?
PC bugs.
My computer still can't run the game Shadow.
Yeah, I know, but like that has to do with the hardware, not the software.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The optimization was meh. I mean, even then, from the beginning, I did hear a few people did have like a lot of issues with like running the game on PC. But in terms of bugs, it was fine. I don't know. The game, I don't know. I mean, I never really got past the first boss. I got to him, never beat him, mainly because it just walked away. I was like, all right, well, this game is just. I'll probably play it elsewhere with a better FPS. So whatever. Probably try it later on, but after I get like a better PC, because right now the game runs like an unstable FPS to the point where like my attacks are delayed constantly, and I just can't do shit.
Invisible enemies.
No, that's fixed. I just can't see shit.
Yeah.
I remember when you mentioned that to me early on. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think we were all in the call when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
remember that. Miguel says a lot of satire in the Genshin community. Elden Ring is by far the most difficult game ever, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has a ridiculous amount of bugs.
Yeah, it's definitely not perfect by any means. But it's just surprisingly
game is?
fun. I had low expectations because of how buggy it was.
Yeah,
But it's
I like
actually fun.
didn't we also like when the trailer like kicked in, we like were like assuming what was gonna be happening, and we like
we
guessed
guessed it.
correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Because I was like, bro, fool me once, shame on me. But I'm not falling for. Actually, I didn't even fall for it the first time. But the fact that it happened twice.
Yeah, the
Ugh.
fact that I was like, oh, okay, well, the trailers are being really shitty, and like the community's like, oh, no, they may optimize it, never optimized it.
That's what
Exactly.
people always
At all.
fucking assume. They assume that shit with like Link's Awakening and a few other games. They're just like, oh no, it'll get better. No, it's not.
Like the like
No, it's
Breath
I mean,
of the
that's how it should work, though.
yeah, but this
Yeah,
is
but
not
it's
like
not.
Breath of the Wild levels of like polish, where like, oh, we need polish for even up the last gen. No, this is like you have the current console, and that's it. That's all you have to work with. That's all you have. You don't have to do double duty, and they still fuck it up.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
mostly
this is why Scarlet and Violet's my last entry for this series. I really just don't like. I can't.
well,
shit. Like,
also
I don't-
partially for the reason being is that they've also shrunk the textures. So all of the textures that are shrunk are having to load, which cranks down the FPS. Which I actually learned that instead of like the textures being like big like pieces, they shrunk them down to be smaller. But the consequence of that is like, yes, you have more details on things when you look at it up close, like with a still image. The problem is overall, it just makes it look bad. Like there's details everywhere, even on the Pokemon itself. But like, if like you don't even notice it because you're having to notice like how bad the performance is, and it's kind of overlooked.
Is that? Is that a rock, Terraslos?
You know, I will say this about Pokemon. This is like my like definitive lesson. Like even though like I got Arceus thanks to my parents, this is like my Scarlet and Violet is like my last entry to this fucking franchise because like they've had so many times to like actually get shit right. It was like okay, Sword and Shield obviously like a bit of a test fire with like trying open world. and then Arceus was like a good step in the was like a step in a good direction, but then they like fuck it up with SV, and then like BDSP was also fucking lackluster, and it was
Mhm.
like
Oh
okay,
yeah,
this was like so
I
much
think that
shit.
has to do more with like the developer
Mm.
who was in charge of
Although
it rather than Game
I
Freak.
will say this, there's been a lot of discussion I've been seeing lately about BDSP, where it's like, is it a good game? Is it a bad one? Was it really just shittily made? A lot of people are now defending it, where it's like, oh no, BDSP is like it's a faithful remake, and it's like, okay, if it's a faithful remake, doesn't that mean that the game you guys have been praising for the last like few years is actually like a pretty shitty one at that? If it's actually like a genuinely faithful remake, that means at heart the game's not good, right? Like,
Yeah, because if I recall, BDS actually Diamond and Pearl and Platinum in general just had really very bad and clunky mechanics
mhm,
of doing a bunch of shit,
yeah, so like I
and none
don't
of
know.
them were good, which is why they were like replaced afterwards
Mm.
for like
Alright, well, I
better
mean, like Skyline
systems.
Violet is like a fun game, and the story is like the best we've had in a long time. But
Ironically, and
yeah, it's
there's
just
like
like
and then technicality, there's no evil character, villain, boss
yeah,
group, anyways. So,
Thanks
like,
for,
it's just a
yeah.
shame that like
thanks for
it's
the
locked
spoilers.
behind. Yeah, well, not either way. It's just a shame like the game is locked behind like a $60 paywall of hey, you pay $60 for a really good experience. Where the only thing good about it is the story and Pokemon models. You're gonna fucking get annoyed by everything else. Like
Yeah,
nothing
you're
runs
gonna
perfectly in this game. Even like the
if
UI is shite.
yeah, the UI is kind of hit or miss. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that was a game I wanted to get. Like when it was announced a couple of months ago, like back in February, I was actually a bit interested in this game just because it was like an open world Pokemon game, which I'm like, yeah, this could be up my alley. I think this could get me into the series. And yeah, when I heard there was a lot of technical bugs and issues, that's where it sort of made me like,
And we still have hacking, so that's
yeah, there's
fun.
that. And so I'm like, I don't know about that anymore.
Even though granted, it hacking has been a problem since day one, for every single generational of the game. So I mean, that's kind of been a really long battle that has been constantly lost each time. So
Mm,
can't really blame Game Freak for that one in hindsight, but still.
yeah, it's just
I just
it.
feel like technology evolves. Like it's every game's gonna be like that eventually.
No, because here's the thing.
Oh boy.
Because the first generation Switches have a particular chipset that does not run like a mod checker that bricks the system when it's like, oh, you tampered the system and then bricks it. That's why the generation one Switches are so valuable, is because they're modifiable. Whereas the new ones are created in a way that you cannot mod them.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that ability to mod, they can just push and hack Pokemon like nothing. Like no matter what security system that Game Freak can put, because of that hurdle, there's not much they can do.
Yeah.
Except for like banning the game or cartridge that the user is using. But that's literally it. That's all they can do.
Okay.
Or if they're lucky, the system entirely, which is generally kind of harder.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I mean, like this game could have been something else, but like obviously, like there is a good game in there. It's just, oh, shit, sorry about that. I accidentally deafened myself. I was just
Yeah,
like,
let's say like you.
yeah, I accidentally pressed on the button. But I was saying like if this game like didn't have these technical bugs, like this would have been like a home run because there is still a good game like in there, just despite like the technical performances and the bugs and glitches that are affecting the game and also the hacking. But yeah, this would have been a good game.
I think it still is a good game. It's just
It's just
less,
riddled
it's just
with a
less
bunch of
good.
problems that could be fixed, but ends up not being fixed.
Yeah.
Also, no voice acting, which I kind of feel like is also this opportunity that a lot
Uh,
of people
that-
mention.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was
I'll add to that. If you like take a look at a lot of the cutscenes that are actually like fully animated, all their mouth movements are animated to like actual words, which to me implies that they're actually going to be voice acting, but they either didn't have the money or the time to implement it and hire voice actors.
Yeah, and it's also
Especially since like Clavel in one of the trailers had voice acting. So
yeah, even though like their discretion of like this is not part of the final gameplay or whatever they put on the bottom. Oh yeah, and also then like they bought the Elite Four music and the Champion music was bugged.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, because the music team was like, "Oh hey, our bad. Here's the fix." Like they literally announced it on social media, and I just sit there going,
That's a
Huh.
big deal.
"Yeah, you can't really make half of that shit up. Like what the fuck."
Oh, that's not good.
Oh yeah, and then Kai, I think you've seen it. There's like little placeholder Pokeballs in like certain areas for like cutscenes,
Mhm.
where like those Pokeballs are just meant to like scope how large the area is, or like where the center of that area is.
Yeah, a lot of
Which
the
is
game is just fucking lazy. It's like that's why like I'm just over with it. It's like how many times are we gonna let the developers fuck up until we're finally like, okay, hey, I'm
or
just
get away with a bunch of
stop.
mistakes after years and years and years of making
Exactly, because
games.
like obviously people are calling him out on it, like especially with like BDSP, Sword, and all the other games they've been releasing. But like,
Which I
I
feel like we kind of have to in order to like get
yeah,
them to realize like, hey, you can't just sit on your asses and be like, oh, here's the game.
Mhm.
Have fun, everyone. This is not the 3S generation where because you made like a small mistake. Because back then it was like, oh, funny glitch. This is a feature. Where now it's just like kind of detrimental because now game standards is a lot higher because you're
yeah.
on a different
Honestly,
console.
it's just embarrassing too, especially when like you take into account that I think one of their devs or someone from Game Freak had an interview I think earlier this year or sometime last year regarding like all the shit talking like the community does towards Game Freak,
Mhm.
and like the guy literally went, "Oh yeah, no, we hear him." That was it. Like, oh yeah, you hear him, but are you doing anything? That's the fucking issue. It's
Yeah,
like,
you're hearing them, but you're not,
yeah,
taking
it's
the
like,
advice that is being shouted. I
yeah, it's
guess in a
just
way.
embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah. Also the funny fact of like back when Sword and Shield was being created, they were like, "Oh hey, by the way, we lost all the 3D models." Like really? Like how do you do that? Like how do you manage that?
Yeah, it's
I still
it's
don't
really
understand how
weird.
they manage that.
Yeah, it's rather weird.
Yeah, no, it's very strange.
Okay. Uh, okay. So Blake, do you want me to do my game of the year, or do you want to talk about your game of the year?
You can do it.
Okay. All right. I guess it's not a huge surprise, but yeah, my game of the year is God of War Ragnarok.
Whoa.
I know, right? Yeah. Also,
The
it's
game
also
you literally beat like yesterday.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. It's also Kevin's game of the year as well, because if he was here, he would say the same thing that his game of the year is also God of War Ragnarok. But yeah, I mean, I played God of War 2018 a couple of years ago. I think back 2019, so 3 years ago, and I enjoyed that game. I thought it was a really good game. I could see why a lot of people liked that game, and yeah, I enjoyed it as well. And so when they announced that they were making a sequel to God of War 2018, I was excited. They announced it 2 years ago, and then it was supposed to come out last year, but then it got delayed to this year. And I was a little bit worried, thinking like if it was gonna make 2022
Yeah,
window.
one sec.
Oh, yeah, it was gonna like make it for the 2022 release window, and I haven't said much. But then in July, I think that's when they said the release date for it being November, and so yes, I was gonna make it by the end of this year, and it did. And so, got the game the same day it came out. Unfortunately, I think I had to wait a couple of days until it came in the mail, which was quite unfortunate because at least I'll say this, like at least like I had time to play through Frontiers just to maybe get through the game, and then once I get through Frontiers, then I can start God of War. But I didn't start God of War until like a few weeks after when I got the game. So yeah, it took me like a month just because I've been busy with other stuff. I mean, you guys know why I've been busy. And yeah, I beat the game a couple of days ago, and I yeah, definitely enjoyed it a lot more than the first game. The story is amazing. The characters that you interact with, really awesome. I find them memorable. The performances for each of the characters, like the actors that they do with each character, phenomenal. Like they do a great job, and yeah, I mean, obviously, I could agree that yeah, Christopher Judge does deserve the award for best performance. When we were watching the Game Awards a couple of weeks ago, yeah, I think he deserved it. Also, like the actor for Atreus, Freya,
Dude talked
Odin,
for like
Thor.
20 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I know. Like even then, like at the Game Awards, he was talking for like 10 minutes, which was a little
I
bit
know.
longer.
I understand you're thankful and you're welcome, but holy fuck.
Yeah.
Next year, cut that shit by like 3/4.
Yeah, let's not have a longer speech, but I mean, either way, like he still deserved the award in my
After,
opinion. So,
especially after the shit that went down in the Game Awards near the end.
oh yeah, exactly. Nominated, like someone nominating Bill Clinton.
Yeah, it was just
Very weird, but nevertheless, yeah, the gameplay, definitely evolves from the first game. You're still hacking through and like hacking and slashing through enemies, like using the Leviathan axe, the Blades of Chaos, a third weapon, which I won't spoil. I know Kevin knows what the third weapon is. I know you guys don't really care, but I'll just say it as a not like non-spoiler. Like you get like a third weapon in the game, and yeah, that third weapon is really good to use. And also sort of helps you to go back to certain levels and be able to traverse and like find certain goodies that you couldn't find in the like at the beginning of the game. Like as you're progressing through the game, when you get to the third weapon, then you can go back and do or find certain things that you couldn't look before. So yeah, boss fights were really cool as well. Like I feel like my only like small problem like in the first game, like in 2018, was the fact that there was not enough boss fights. Whereas in this game there is some boss fights. Like you fight Thor, you fight Odin, you fight Heimdall, you fight certain creatures, and it's like, oh yeah, the bosses are really good. Like definitely the highlight. Just a shame that I won't be able to play them again, because it's like the only way for me to play. It's like I'd have to play through the whole campaign again just to get to the certain bosses. But yeah, kind of makes me wish I can like choose a certain chapter to play and just replay that chapter to get to the boss. But I don't know. Maybe you could do that. I'm not sure, but I highly doubt it that you can do that. So I guess I'll just have to see. But yeah, there's that. Uh, Mostly like I've been mostly just going through the campaign. Like there are some side missions that I did wanted to do, but I was like I want to try to get through this game because I want to beat it before the end of the year. And yeah, if I did side quests, then I probably right now would have not beaten the game yet. So I would have been a little bit hesitant on putting it on my game of the year list just because like it's a game I still haven't beaten yet, but I really do want to talk about it. But either way, I still beat it and I really enjoyed it. I would probably give it like a 9 out of 10. Just because like, the game does a lot and I really think that it evolves a lot more from the first game to the second game, and I would say probably my only minor problem is kind of like the camera a little bit to where sometimes enemies could be attacking me. And like I would try to lock on to the enemies, but for whatever reason, like sometimes the lock on would rarely work sometimes, and so because of it I would always get hit a couple of times, and then there'd be a few times where I would die just because like I couldn't dodge like quick enough just because like the camera wasn't focusing on that enemy. So that's kind of like my slight minor gripe with the game, which is like sort of deducting a little bit of points off. But other than that, I could safely say that God of War Ragnarok is definitely like my game of the year for this year, and also one of my favorite games of all time. Even like it's just this game is so fucking good. And
I think you say that every year.
you think I say that every year?
It feels like it. I doubt it, but it feels like it.
I mean, like when a game speaks out to you like that, like when it's like Game of the Year worthy, it's kind of like, oh, like this game's really good. Like, is it like one of my favorite games that I like to go back to? Yes, but I don't know if it'll be like all the way at my top five or like top five of my list of favorite games of all time. But yeah, I mean, God of War Ragnarok, I could see a top 10 for sure. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, definitely. I would like to go back to the game and do most of the side quests because I know Kevin, he's been doing like the side quests as well, and I think he's trying to platinum the game, I believe. So if he's trying to platinum it, then that's great. I'll see if I can do it as well. I don't know if I will because I know there's some hard boss fights in the game that you have to fight to get some trophies. I'm not
Yeah.
looking forward to it, so but we'll see what I can do. But either way, again, I've been rambling too much. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok, my game of the year. What an amazing game, and yeah, if you guys haven't played God of War and like action games and story-driven games, then yeah, God of War is definitely up your alley. So yeah.
All right. I mean,
Hmm?
don't really have much to say.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say like real quick, like if you guys had any questions on God of War, like was there something that you guys wanted to know based off my experience or what the game is about?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. Fuck you.
Okay then. All right. Well, Blake, what's your game
Well,
of the
actually,
year?
I do have one thing. So you said about like the first God of War you played. You said there wasn't enough bosses. Do you feel like in this game you got more than you wanted, or do you think it was a good amount?
I got a little bit more than I wanted. Like obviously, like God of War 2018, there were bosses, but not a lot that were memorable. Like there was like some trolls you fought. There's that one dragon fight, like where one of the dragons you fight, and then there's like the main antagonist, and that's about it. I think those are like the only two bosses that I can remember. The other ones, like they are there, but I just don't feel like they're like super memorable to me.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this game, like there are bosses that are memorable. Like, oh, there's this giant wolf that you have to fight. Oh, you fight Heimdall. Oh, you fight Thor twice. Oh, you fight Odin as the final boss, which I spoiled, which I did not mean to do that. But I mean, I think people who would play the game would probably get the general idea that Odin's the antagonist.
Are we talking about Hades?
No, God of War.
God of War.
Oh, God of War. Got it.
Yep. So yeah. So I think definitely like the boss, like in terms of bosses, it does do it a lot better for me in the second game, like in Ragnarok, more than 2018.
While this was going on, I just beat the first gym.
All right, nice. There you go.
Hmm.
All right, Blake, do you want to say your game of the year?
Yeah. So I just so bad this stuff. There's not really a ton I can say about my game of the year because mine is probably Sonic Frontiers, like Spike.
Okay.
There's not really a ton I can say that like Spike hasn't already talked about. But it's just like everything I wanted, like in a game. I just started getting into like open world as of like recent because earlier this year I played Legends Arceus and Xenoblade, so I've been really and I think open world is really really fun. It's fun having your own journey and just being able to do whatever you want. I unlike Spike, I was pretty confident that game was going to be really good, mostly because of Ian Flynn. Because I read the IDW comics and I really really like them. And when I heard that Ian Flynn was helping out with the game, I was pretty much convinced that I knew this game was going to be good or it's going to go down in history as like one of the better Sonic games. Not saying like I definitely was a little nervous because new Sonic game like maybe a new way to fuck up because that happens more than I would like to admit. But yeah, it was a new experience for Sonic, and I think they did a really good job with it. And I'm really excited to see what they do next because of I forgot what the song was called, but like Sega, there was a song that like I forgot what it was. I think it was the ending theme of Frontiers. But it kind of tells us like the future of Sonic, like what's next, and it sounds pretty good. Like it's sounding really promising, like for the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see where the Sonic team goes. But yeah, there's not really too much I could say. I think the writing was incredible. I think Sage was really good. I really hope we get to see her more. Like I hope she just isn't this one-off character that we only see like Infinite, because I think Infinite was so cool and he could have been so awesome, but like he was he was just such a pushover. Like his writing was terrible. So I hope the same doesn't happen for Sage because I think all of us really like Sage. Um, But yeah, Sonic Frontiers is probably my game of the year as well. It's just everything I wanted in a Sonic game.
Oh, I mean, like, that's awesome. Like, that's great that you and Swag share the
Oh
same
my God.
game of the year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me and Kevin, to where we both have God of War Ragnarok as our game of the year.
I'm still upset Kevin hasn't played Sonic Frontiers because I guarantee like Sonic Frontiers would be really high up on his list if you actually played it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Kevin's watching right now, but yeah, Kevin, if you're watching, I mean, you're missing out on this game.
Like knowing the type of games that Kevin likes and plays, I think he would really like Frontiers.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, definitely, I feel like he should give it a shot. I think like he would
I
like
think
this game.
I think Kevin likes open. Kevin probably likes open world more than all of us because some of his favorite games, he Uncharted, Red
Creed.
Dead,
Assassin's Creed.
yeah, Assassin's Creed. Like some of his favorite games of all time are open world. So I think he would really love Frontiers. It really is a shame, but like obviously we're not going to say it in the call or in the stream, but like Kevin has been going through a lot, so give him a break. But he has been going through a lot.
Yeah, and he was gonna come in
And
today, but
I really hope he's going to be okay because that guy's a part of the family.
yeah, yeah. Again, he was gonna come in, but unfortunately he has COVID, so he unfortunately couldn't make.
If you're watching
the
this,
stream.
Kevin, love you, bro. Hope to see you soon, man.
Yeah, hopefully we get to talk to you.
I miss you dearly.
Hopefully we get to talk someday, Kev. So
Mm-hmm.
just take it easy.
Ooh, hi there, new Pokemon.
But what about other games? Like I think you also played Legends Arceus as well. Like you played that. You also played Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. So
Like, do you want me to talk about those, or
if
do you
you,
want me
if
to
you
go
wanted to
again, or-
talk about them, because I know those were two other games I remember that you said that you also really enjoyed that came out this year.
I think like number 2 would probably be. God, that's hard. God, that's hard. Probably be Kirby and the Forgotten Land because I was really I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land was a really good game to play like after Star Allies because I feel like Star Allies was really disappointing. I don't think the game was bad. It's just like that game just didn't reach my expectations.
Yeah, I think most Kirby fans would agree.
I just I feel like that's one of the first misses in Kirby or that Kirby has had in a while. I think like the last one was like Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the Wii U.
Oh yeah, that game.
Yeah, that game was weird, man. Like, oh, it just died. No.
Yeah.
That game was weird, man. I do not know how to feel about that game.
Yeah, it's like the
I
fact
didn't play it, but like it looked weird.
Yeah, it's like the fact you gotta use the stylus to navigate Kirby through these levels. It's kind of weird.
I like I was playing Mario Maker or something. But yeah, I can't say much because I didn't actually play the game. But it didn't feel like it would even be worth $60. It's like one of those things.
Mhm.
I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land was great. I think the bosses were really fun. Being the first 3D World Kirby game, it was super fun. Again, open world. I've been getting a lot into open world as of like this year or even last year.
Mhm.
And I think Kirby, like I feel like Kirby was one of those franchises that should have been like that should have had open world a long time ago. But I think all the copy abilities were cool. I thought leveling up your abilities was really cool. And I don't know if they've done that before. They might have, and I just don't remember.
Mhm.
Alan, you played the game too, and you liked it, and you weren't really huge in the Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a Kirby fan, but when they announced Kirby was going into 3D, and then I saw gameplay footage, it catch my interest, and I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot. You know, this may be my first introductory to the Kirby series. So, and it was.
I remember when we watched the trailer for that game, and I was really ecstatic about it. Like I saw Kirby washed up on the beach, and I was so thrilled.
Oh,
Because that I wasn't actually expecting Kirby that day. Like I didn't think we were gonna actually get a Kirby game like so soon.
yeah, because I think there was like rumors suggesting that we would get a 3D Kirby game, or I think that same day when it was announced, I think there was leaks going around that Kirby and the Forgotten Land was getting like I think
I
like
think
that game
so.
got leaks.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Kai, you were the one that said something in the chat that day. I know it's been like a year ago. I don't think you remember, but I think you were the one that said that the game got leaked so early.
Mhm.
So
It's always so annoying whenever games get leaked.
yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
It just like reminds me of like back in Smash 4 when fucking Ryu got leaked the same day he came out, or the same day he got announced.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, when I think about it.
That was so sad. I was so upset about that.
Same.
But there's not really much. It's so hard because it's really hard for me to like remember everything because it's been so long ago since I played these games. Sonic Frontiers was the game I had the most recent memory with. My third game came out literally in January, and I
Really
got
recent.
it. And I got the game on like March or February or March. So it's been many months since I played it. So like my memory isn't fresh at all. So like, Sonic Frontiers was the game that I had the most recent memory with because I played it like maybe like a week ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to 100% it.
Are you still 100%ing it right now, or have you finished?
Not right now, but I do. That's still the goal.
Oh, okay.
I've 100%ed like most of it. I just need to like do get S ranks on like all the cyberspace levels, and I'd be pretty much done. Getting getting the fish encyclopedia. Is that a shiny fletchling? No, I don't think so. Okay.
Now Blake is just paranoid.
It's just because like fletchling shiny looks kind of similar to its normal shiny, and it's like sunset right now, like in my game, so like it kind of looks a little darker than it does normally. So I was like, "Is that a fucking shiny?" I got so excited for a second. Okay, but sorry. Fuck. Yeah. Kirby. Just like I don't have any recent things with Kirby, and same with my game that I'm going to talk about later in the stream. So yeah, like Sonic Frontiers was my only recent recent game that I played. I'm playing Pokemon Sword and Shield Scarlet and Violet right now, but I just started this game. I'm maybe like 3 hours into the game because I got this on Christmas. So like, I would like to talk about this game, but I don't think I physically can.
Just because you're still currently going through the campaign and experiencing the game for yourself.
Yeah.
No, I didn't finish it either, but I still talked about it.
But yeah, but you're like 80% in. You're on like the 7th gym, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah.
I just beat the first one. Like I just beat the first one like 20 minutes ago. So I feel like I can't say much.
And in technicality, I cheated because I watched a bunch of streams.
Yeah, I guess so.
I watched people play it. I didn't play it. I watched people play it.
I actually need to put my phone on the charger. I'm at 5%. I wish I could pull up Kirby in the Forgotten Land right now, but I can't. What's something that happened in the game that I'm trying to remember? It's like my least favorite thing about Kirby, like as of late.
Mouthful mode.
Oh yeah, mouthful. Oh god, yeah. I was mouthful. I was not a huge fan of mouthful mode. I thought it just looked dumb.
I think that was the
that's
point.
Yeah, I know. Well, like that's not the thing I was gonna say. I hate how like in new Kirby games, I hate the cliche of just like Kirby meets a new friend and that's the enemy. I know that's like a thing in like a lot of other games, but like I feel like that happens in Kirby so much. Like it happened in this game. It happened in Rainbow Curse. It happened in
Star Allies, I think.
Return to Dreamland.
It happens a lot more than you think, to be fair.
Yeah, it happens a lot in Kirby. Like it's just like so annoying.
Like it's like at that point it's becoming very formulaic.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
you're just not. It's just like you're not allowed to trust anybody except for DDD, DDD, Waddle Dee, and Meta Knights. Like those are the only characters you can trust. Well, okay, like the character that you meet in the beginning of Forgotten Land, he's not really the enemy, but he's like the catalyst of the enemy. Like he is what makes the final boss like him.
Yeah, like
Like he's a part of the final boss, I guess you could say.
yeah, like he still has a role.
Whereas the final boss needs him to become
His the
all
true
powerful.
Yeah, to be the true form.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's just really predictable, and I know like Kirby games are really kiddish and like they're not really oh hello there. They're really kiddish in a sense. I've just saw a new Pokemon, I'm sorry. Oh my god, another female. Am I just gonna have like 20 fucking Pokemon? They're all females. But yeah, it just gets really predictable to the point where like it's just fighting bosses or like seeing new bosses or new characters. It's just like not. It's just not fun anymore. At least to me. I just switched into the wrong Pokemon. Very cool. But yeah, other than that, I think the game was amazing. It's probably like my favorite or second favorite Kirby game.
Yeah, 'cause you still prefer the Kirby 64, right?
It depends on the day, really. It's like Forgotten Land, Kirby 64, Return to Dreamland, and what was the fourth one? It wasn't Epic. Was it Epic Gamer?
I was gonna say Planet Robobot.
Oh, Triple Deluxe. That
Oh,
was
okay,
it.
Triple Deluxe.
It's like those four games. Like it just depends on the day for me.
Okay.
Like I can't pick a favorite. I love them all. I feel like if I had to pick, like Triple Deluxe would probably be the worst because I have the least amount of memories with it because it's been years. But that doesn't mean it's any less of a good game. So yeah, that's me. That was me with Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Okay. And then also, I think real quick, you said you wanted to mention Legends Arceus.
Well, I already gone through two games, so like I feel like it wouldn't be right if I just went for my third one.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. I thought like you were gonna mention a little bit of Legends Arceus.
Oh fuck! I killed it. No, fuck!
And Blink killed the Pokemon.
Alan, you bitch! You distracted me.
Haha, that was my plan.
You fucking cunt!
Alright, but
God damn it! Now I gotta find another one. Fuck!
alright, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we end the stream, or is that it?
Are we actually end?
I mean, if everyone else like has something else they want to say, they can say what they gotta say.
Oh.
If not, then we can just wrap it up.
There's not much. I guess the couple of things I've got to mention was while I did say I didn't have faith in Sonic, I was mainly talking about the story wise. Gameplay wise, I actually thought it was gonna be great. And I wasn't disappointed with that. Yeah, I said, remember when the trailers came? I even told you guys, I was like, I think the game's gonna be a banger based off the Sonic cycle. And while it isn't
the Sonic
a banger based off the Sonic cycle, I
How
still
does
think
the
it's really
Sonic
good.
cycle work? How does the Sonic cycle go now? Like, will the next game be trash?
I think so. Yeah.
Great.
We'll see. What was the other one? The other one was I've always wanted Sonic in an open world because like I always like open worlds, but I've never played an open world where you can run around really fast. So I've always been like the moment I saw Frontiers came out, I was immediately a fan of that concept. So like I was immediately interested in it. So, and that's it. The two things I forgot to mention.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Where do I go?
Alright. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that Chris also he couldn't make it to the stream, so he said that his game of the year is Splatoon 3. Which I mean, I'm not too surprised. I thought he would say like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or one of the Pokemon games, but yeah, Splatoon 3. I mean, obviously I
Do
can.
we know how much did he play Xenoblade? Did he beat it? Did he beat 3?
I think he beat 3. I think he has 45 hours into the game.
Huh.
So yeah. I thought he would probably say Xenoblade, but I guess because he plays more Splatoon 3, I guess that would explain why he would probably go with that game as his game of the year.
After this, I really gotta ask a question, so I'm just gonna wait. But
Okay, yeah.
I need to ask.
All right, I'll wrap it up then, just because.
Take your no, it's cool. Take your time.
Well, I mean, it's already
I'm just
9:30.
like saying that now, so I'm just saying that now, so I don't forget.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's already like 9:30, so it's because like we don't really have much to talk about, so it's like we can just wrap it up.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like like final warning, like if anyone still has something to say it. If not, then I'll just wrap it up.
I'm good.
Okay then. All right, so I guess we'll just wrap it up here. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for the Game of the Year discussion stream. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And yeah, it was a good time just talking about all the games that we've been, saying like what's our game of the year and all that. So it it was a pretty good discussion. Like this was something that I always wanted to do like a few years ago, but we never really got a chance to get around to doing so. Like I wanted to do it last year, but last year, Christmas season and mostly spending time with family, and so I didn't really have much time to do a game of the year discussion. The year prior as well, it was just also, for obvious reasons, it was a pretty shit show of a year. But I'm glad that we got to do a game of the year discussion, and even though we don't necessarily have everybody here, as I would like everyone to be here, it is what it is. But yeah, so Kevin's game of the year, God of War Ragnarok. Chris's game of the year, Splatoon 3. My game of the year, God of War Ragnarok as well. Blake and Swike's game of the year, Sonic Frontiers. Kai's game of the year, Hades. And Shadow doesn't really have a game of the year, but he has played games that he sort of played this year, like, Splatoon 3. He played Elden Ring, TMNT Shredder for Bench with us when we did co-op as well. So yeah, he's played those games, but he doesn't necessarily have a game of the year. But yeah, that's going to do it for the stream. So again, hope you guys did enjoy the stream. If you guys have a game of the year, just let us know in the chat. If not, then we'll just wrap it up. And yeah, again, thanks for coming, Mac, Miguel, Terrence, Black. Thank you guys so much for coming by the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, like I said, like perhaps like in 2023, maybe I'll stream like once in a while, like whenever we get the chance. It's just because like sometimes like either I may not have enough energy to stream, or I'm just a little bit occupied with life, so we'll see how it goes, but we'll try to stream as much as we can throughout January. And yeah, we'll see what kind of games we'll do. Maybe we'll do Mario Kart, Smash, Among Us, or any other type of games, or maybe discussions. Like if any of the guys have an idea if they want to do a discussion on a certain topic, then we can do that as well. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. So yeah, thanks for coming by, and have a good night.